G'day, welcome back to the channel. Just need to get a few things knocked out of the way. Gonna get back into the Torana. Got a little bit of spare time up my sleeve now, so better do a little bit on it. It's been sitting there neglected for a while. But anyway, so it's just a few little things I want to do to it, so I'll just show you. So I just need to drill and plug weld the bottom of the apron there, where it joins together on the valance or whatever, the radiator support. So I'll drill and plug weld that, finish that off. I want to finish the engine bay off, give it a coat of primer. There's a hole up here from the old retro aerial. I don't need that anymore. And I want to finish off the underlay inside here as well. I've been lazy on that. And as you can see, she's on a bit of an angle, so I've got the back is down on the ground on some casters there. And I want to get the front down on the ground, but I'll weld those bits up first. So I'll get the front down on the ground, get it down on its own weight, and then I want to check the door gaps, see where we're at with those. If I need to adjust the door gaps there, I will do. Yeah, so we'll get into a bit of that. Anyway, let's get stuck into it. Okay, I've spot welded what I needed to do on the front apron there, so we'll chuck these wheels on the front and jack it up, get it off these stands. It's been up on the stands for quite some time, so this will be good to get it down on the ground. Knock out a few more bits of wood. There we go, it's on the ground. Didn't hear any creaks and cracks, so we'll bit of a look at the door gaps. Didn't seem to close up, so that's a good sign. No. Anyway, so I've got to make the door gaps bigger anyway, so we'll get in there and grind away, I suppose. Bend, push, pull, whatever. So this back of this door gap's really good. Apparently got to be about 5 mil. That's nowhere near 5 mil, so this one's nowhere near 5 mil. It's close, a couple of spots, but the back of the door is a bit close. So anyway, cool. It's back on the ground. Oh yeah. Anyway, so I want to do some priming. Do some priming in there. So yeah, I think there's a couple of holes here. Someone's drilled. So I'm going to plug weld those up and fill that, and then we'll get a bit of primer down and weld that hole in the roof as well from that 70 spec aerial, which we're not going to run that anymore. We don't need a radio. The radio will be in there, so that's what you'll listen to. Anyway, we'll keep going. Right, I've made a little piece to weld in there. So we'll get the hot glue gun there and see if we can't stick her into position. Where's my freaking air blower? Get on in. Oh, now I don't have any gloves. Fuck it. So I give it a bit of a hit with the hammer there just to dip it down a little bit, and we've got a good weld on it there, and it's only just a slight little dent, so we'll put a little swipe of filler over that, give that a bit of a sand up. But I've got a couple of holes to patch in the engine bay there, so I might as well do those as well, and then I'll fill them all at the same time. Got a little bit of filler on there, and a little bit in there. Just stuffing around with these door gaps. So where I've got the tape, you can see how much I need to take off the front edge of the door. Basically comes down to nothing here because it's 5mm gap here, then it's sort of like 3mm, you know, up to there. So that obviously grey bit is the door sticking out there, so I'm going to grind that off. So I get my 5mm gap through there. Got about 4mm at the back of the door. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to touch it. The other side, same sort of thing with this side. Got to take a couple of mil off, and then it comes down to 5mm down the bottom down there. I don't want to grind the edge off the guard because it's nice and straight and new, and so I'll just grind it off there. I've got a 5mm gap at the back of the door, so that's fine. So yeah, we'll get the doors off and put them on the operating table. So just put the door back on, and you can see we've just got a nice gap there. Might have to take a little bit, straighten that up a little bit, I think. It's just a little bit too close. If we, it clears it, but yeah. Oh, looking pretty good, I reckon. We got 5mm there. Might just have to go just a little bit more, just to allow for a little bit of weld in some spots. The 3 skins have come apart a little bit just in there. But we'll fix that up. But what else are you supposed to do on these things? They're non-adjustable hinges, apart from pounding it with a hammer. Because we've put new guards and stuff on there. Yeah, probably, well, I mean, I'm hard up against down here, so guard can't come back any further. So yeah, we'll do the same to the other side, and yeah, go from there. Righto, done a bit of grinding and welding, more grinding. I've got my 5mm gap there. It's looking pretty good, pretty happy with that. The rear gap, as I showed you before, you know, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to change it. Looks good. Did a bit of rubbing there. You know, you don't want to see people rub and bog, it's quite boring. So, yeah, tripping over shit. Get a little bit more filler in there, it's a little bit low. Chuck a bit more in there. And this door gap. Pretty happy with that. This guard needs a little bit of massaging, but we'll leave that up to the professionals. They can give that a, it's hanging out a bit. There's a bit of a, anyway, needs a bit of a panel beat. And same with down here, it's hanging out a bit. You know, tried to get it in as far as I could, but it just, yeah, won't go in any further. So that's going to need a little bit of a bashing. Yeah, and the back of this one is really good. I'll just give that a little bit of a grind up. Looks like someone's dropped the door on its edge and folded this in a bit, so that needs a little bit of love. And I know exactly how that was done, because I did the same thing on the driver's door. Knocking the pins out, of course didn't have a jack under it, and the thing just fell on the ground, and it fell right on the corner of the door there and folded it in at a bloody right angle. But I fixed the other side. I'll have to give this side a little massage as well. So anyway, we'll keep chipping away. We'll finish this engine bay off, and yeah, hopefully get some primer in there, so seal it up. Righto, so I was just trying to use up all the little scraps that I had left over, because I don't have any more, but I've done up the tunnel up there. Just did a few little spots here, just all the little scraps that I had left over. Covered that piece. Yeah, not going to worry about that. Anyway, so that is all done. So, yeah, pretty happy with that. Right, door gap still. So the passenger side, the guard was like hanging out quite a bit. You know, you walk past things all the time and you just, you know, other people might not notice them there, but that just keeps drawing my eye to it all the time, and it's just pissing me off. So I've cut the welds off on the inner of the guard there. I should have done it when I bolted the guard on. A lot of things I probably should have done, but I'll show you what I've done so far. So this was tacked in here. It had the lip on the guard, which I should have relieved it properly. So I've given it some clearance now, so you know, cut the weld off down the bottom down there. So now it's sitting in a lot further, and we'll bolt the door back on, put the pins back in, and see where I'm at now. So now it's sitting a lot better. If I weld that in there now, it's like overhanging a mil instead of 5 before. So I'm going to come in a little bit. So pretty happy with that now, and I'll be able to line the bottom up a lot better now as well once I tack that into place, and then I'll bend the bottom out, get that to fit correctly so it lines up with this, sits in the right spot. Righto, so pretty much where I've got the door gaps sorted there. I will fine tune this guard on this side just a little bit more, push that guard in a little bit further. Still hanging out probably a mil or so. I reckon I can get it in pretty damn flush. I probably should have checked it from the start. A lot of things I probably should have done. Test fitting the doors before you weld the guards on, probably one big thing. Didn't even think of it. I don't think I even did it. So that's why I had to grind the front edge off the doors to give it some gap. Probably not the best thing to do, but what else do you do? It's turned out all right. I've welded them back together and everything's good. What else? I wrote some things down here. So bonnet on before you weld the guards on, which I did do that, and the gaps on the bonnet are really good. With an original bonnet, I'm probably going to run a fiberglass bonnet on this anyway with the reverse cowl, because the carby is going to stick up through the bonnet, and we'll just probably be running one of those reverse cowl bonnets to get the clearance. Seems it's going to have a V8 in it. Test fit everything 52,000 times before you go welding panels on. These things, how they're welded together, pain in the ass, but I guess if you know what you're doing, it's not a problem. I'm not a panel beater, as you can see, but I'm having a go. This thing's just about ready to give it to the panel beater, I reckon, and they can finish straightening it out and chuck it in primer for me. I think it's turning out okay so far, but I'm just doing bit by myself, so we'll just keep plodding along at it, I suppose. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and you can throw a few comments in there if you like. Shit I'm doing not right. But we'll just keep chipping away at it. No worries. Thanks for watching. Cheers.